Right, in this video we've got a Roca Cistern and there's basically no water going into the system. So in that case, if you're having that problem, sorry about the finger, make sure that this is on. It was off because I'm going to open up the top, but if you can't hear anything, you flush the toilet and there's no water going in, or it's very, very slow, it just means in these modern systems that the limescale is building up in the inlet pipe. And I did have a viewer recently say, oh, how do you take apart the inlet pipe and also the kind of drainage system down there? In this video I'm not going to do the drainage system because I don't think there's a need for it at the moment in this system. It's just the the inlet pipe. So the inlet pipe is a little bit complicated. Just hang on a second, get a torch. Right, so although it's slightly more complicated than the middle section in one of my other videos, the kind of seal mechanism, the flush mechanism, it's just a bit more fiddly rather than complicated. So press that in, pop this out. There's no screws or anything at the moment. Pop this one out. So I had to press that one in, pop out the outer, gives me access. And now we have got a screw down here. It's just a Phillips head. So obviously I'm going to find a suitable Phillips head screwdriver like that. One of them ones. Phillips means it's got a cross on it. Undo the plastic screw. So just mind you, this is a Roca system, very popular in the UK, probably all over the world as well. So that comes off like that. You've got that. This is all kind of plastic, but kind of remind yourself that side is where the small hole is and the big hole is that side, because that's a different flush. You've got a 3 litre and 6 litre flush. That will also correspond to in there, because that one is the 3 litre and that was the 6 litre. So bear that in mind. Show what it looks like now. So, and yeah, of course, this is aimed at for beginners. You've taken this apart a few times, you don't need advice like this. So the lid comes off, put that somewhere safe. You've got one of my other videos, I took this off. One thing to do, I haven't checked, but I'm just going to lift up the lid to check if the bowl is leaking. I've just flushed it. No, the bowl is alright. There's just no fluid in there because I've turned the tap off, of course, and also because I think that's jam full of limescale. Right, so I'm going to give you a better view what we're trying to take off. That bit there. So that's the flush system. Way down in there is the kind of the bit that fits onto the bottom of the system and the bowl, and that's what the flush system clamps onto. This one is what we're looking at, and again it's called Roca. You can see there, Roca. That's a float, and that shuts off the inlet pipe once it's filled up enough. Of course, look, there's no water in there at the moment. You got this thing here, this little screw. You got this, and if I remember right, this blue thing, it kind of turns the other way than what you think. But let me just try it. Normally limescale will kind of prevent you from easily removing it. Let's put it that way, the limescale will. So let's have a look. Let me see if I can reach over. Might wobble a bit now, it's a bit wobbly where I've got the tripod, but anyway, gives me better access to it. Right, we got that thing there. Pop that out. It might, there's a stick that runs all the way through, this stick runs all the way through. If I let that go, it's going to drop, which is okay in this case. So it drops like that. So that out of float bit has dropped to the bottom, which is okay. So the next bit is a bit tricky. You're going to have to bear with me. I can't remember I should just draw an arrow here or something instead. I can't remember if it's twisting that way. Oh, okay. So, got it straight away. So, that, as you look at it, it's like tightening it. See that? So I screwed it clockwise and undid it. So I did kind of remember. Now, at this point, if you did have the water on, it would come squirting out everywhere. So grasp hold of this and pull, and you'll see a little notch. The little notch matches the little notch there. Floats in the right place. You would also note if I lift up the float, it might even come up. Here's the float. There's a screw, and the more you screw it in, it will basically lift the float up near the top. You get more water in there. If you screw it out, it'll be less water. And I've got to best describe it. This little part here, these two bits fit into that bit there. See that? So these two little bits fit in there like that, and that kind of sits in there like that, right? And when the float comes up, it will push against the little rod. See, that's attached to the rod here, and the rod attaches into there, and it pushes this thing towards the valve, which is there, which is open now. So if I was to turn the valve on now, the water should come out. So this is what we need to start cleaning. We need to clean in there. My guess is full of limescale. So, excuse me a second while I clean it hot water. Hot water because it's cold water, it might not be working. Anyway, there's not much limescale in there, to be honest. Clean round here. Alright, let's have a good little look in there now. It looks like that. Now, I'm hoping as I turn this on, water comes squirting out. Yeah, that's okay. See that? That's normal. Obviously, turn it up higher, it'll start leaking everywhere, as it is. So that's normal. That's fine. So I haven't got any issues there. It's just somehow the limescale was just a bit too much. I haven't found any. It might have just dropped to the bottom. I'm just tidying that up a bit. This floaty bit, this doesn't come out so readily. It's going to soak up any water dropped into the float. The float basket, if you want to call it that. So I mean, you saw it wasn't working. You'll see the job I'm doing on it is just doing a bit of cleaning, getting a bit of limescale off probably the inlet valve. Just getting a bit of, if you've seen limescale, just put your finger in there and pull it out. Turn it on. If the limescale, if the water jet comes out, that means whatever you've done, you've freed it up. And you can hear it, it's kind of crunchy from the limescale. It's not too bad. There's only one last trick. See that stick? One trick I've noticed to put this back, the stick runs all the way through, but get it from underneath. Get it from underneath. So you'll see by the precision of my arm what I mean in a minute. So, oh no, there's not much I can do here really. Not much I can do. See, there's a little notch. The notch lines up with a little notch in the stick. Wasn't that the float was in the wrong place? Nothing like that. So I'm just going to spend a minute or two getting the stick in the right place. Right, it's going to drop in. See what I'm trying to do here. Let me show you. I'm trying to wiggle the stick through the little hole, catching the groove is that way, the little notch is that way. Just need to change the directions on it. If I don't get it done in a second or two, what I'll do, and I'll fast forward it. Okay, you do remember, right? So, from underneath, push on a stick from underneath. Okay, there it is. See that? This is tricky back up. You could take the central portion off if you want, so you can get to it. So you need to put those two little bits into the little kind of bit that I said it would go in. Make sure that that doesn't pop out with the little groove. So it's just a bit awkward, and then a little stick post with a little hole. So put the little stick with a little hole at the top. Before I put it in, I'm just going to show you right. It's just for manoeuvring of the equipment. That's through there, the two little notches are through in the correct place. I haven't really twisted the screw in and out. That's nearly in. The notch is lined up. Wheel underneath. Make sure that little stick hasn't popped out from pushing the little rubber bung in, the little stopper in. So that's in there. So now that's in that position. See that? That's against there. And one more thing to do. Usually it's not as easy as this. It's full of limescale usually. Push that through the little hole, you just heard it click. Push that across. Just need to secure it now. So putting it will be clockwise this time. That's it. That is it. Hopefully, there we go. That's it. That is it. So if you wanted to change this system, there's not leaking in the bottom. That's how you do it. You just see me do it. So I've partially taken it apart at this stage. Water's going in, filling up the cistern. The water pump is not struggling anymore. There it is, see how it's filling up. Check the bowl. Is it leaking? Nope, I don't think so. If it is leaking, change the seal on the middle section. That's another video. I'll leave a link if you want.